It's me, Katie-Beth again, and it's finally Friday, which means it's the day of the week where we review a product, and today's product is this mask making kit that I got at Five Below, and I actually got it on clearance, so it was $3, so quite below. Just looking at it, for $3, I don't feel like I'm going to be disappointed. Let's see the back of it here. So it looks like it has a pattern, and it says it makes 3 different masks. So 3 different sets of fabric, some rhinestones, elastic, some stickers or decals, and a needle and thread. So it looks like it's a complete kit to be able to do this by hand. Let's open this up and see what we got. Dumping out the box, this is the package that comes out. And diving into this and opening it up, we have 3 pieces of interfacing type of fabric. It's very similar to the type of fabric that reusable grocery bags are made out of, just thinner. And then we have 3 pieces of this very silky, cheap type of fabric. And then we have some kid rhinestones and some decals and a needle and thread. Glancing at the directions, it does look pretty basic. You just cut out your pattern and then sew it together, assuming with the needle and thread provided. But it does look like it's only a 2-layer mask, and masks should really be 3 or have a filter pocket. Aside from that, that fabric really isn't going to soak up any of your sweat and might be kind of gross. Moving on, it is nice that it provides a pattern template, but the sizings are a little weird. The pattern I'm showing you right now that I had beforehand is a size medium for adults, and this similar size says it should be ages 7 to 12. So that I don't ruin this pattern template, I'm going to go ahead and trace over each pattern size. So I have all 3 pattern sizes individually without actually cutting into the pattern and ruining it where it's only good for one size. So I'm going to go ahead and do this for all 3 sizes. I'm also going to label them so that I don't get them confused. And here are all 3 sizes. I have the large, medium, and small, and I also wrote the suggested ages so I do not forget them. And moving on, it's time to cut the pattern out. But before I do that, I realized I should probably iron them so I get a little more of an even cut. Now, here's another lesson that I learned that was not in the directions. I just learned from this experience. Put your iron on the lowest possible setting. I personally started it out on wool because that's the setting that worked last week for the chiffon fabric with my bat dress. However, as you'll see here, I start warping it from the heat. It doesn't even seem that hot, but this fabric is so odd that it just melts. So it's a very plastic fabric, so be careful with that. To save time, I cut all 3 prints of the fabric at once. And I just used the size medium because from my previous pattern, it seemed like that's the size that would fit my face best. So I cut out all 3 pieces. Additionally, well, the needle and thread are provided for hand sewing, which will be great for children. I have a sewing machine, so instead of spending a day and a half sewing these together by hand, I'm just gonna go ahead and use my sewing machine and get them done in a few minutes. Since I am going to be using fabric from my own stash to line this with, I decided to use the lining fabric they give you, that really thin interfacing, to just use as a sewn-in filter. So I'm just going to sew it to the fancy fabric that they give you. In this way, I'll treat the 2 fabrics just as one after this. Make a note, another downside to this fabric is that it pills really easily. And next, this fabric is not included in the kit, it's my own, but I wanted to line it with cotton. And cotton just feels a lot better being next to your skin than the synthetic fabrics that they provided. And it adds that 3rd layer of protection, which was not included in the kit. What you're watching right now is I'm sewing the 2 pieces together. That's the silky plastic fabric they provide with the interfacing on it and the cotton, and I'm putting the two good sides on the inside and the bad sides on the outside, because after I sew them together, I'm going to flip them around so that the nice side will be on the outside and the bad side will be on the inside. And this is what it looks like once you flip it around and the nice sides are on the outside. Now the directions say for the sides, you just fold them over, and that actually looks really nice against the black cotton. So I decided I'd try to do it the directions way and fold them over. Now the elastic they give you for the earpieces is this cheap kind of weird elastic, but for masks it's really perfect. However, I already have these mask elastics with adjustable ear bands, so I'm going to go ahead and just use the ones that I already have and save the included elastic for another project. Also, these sewing pins are not included, but I like using them in my sewing because it just helps out. And so I folded the edges over and I went to sew them down. But then I noticed that it was already starting to unravel, so I decided just to do it my normal way and fold the edges in. Then I make sure the ear elastic has a piece in each corner, and I'm going to go ahead and just sew it shut. Since it already has a filter sewn in, I'm not going to need to put a filter in, so I don't need the pocket. And it's okay to really just sew this shut and keep those ear bands in. And I just repeat the process on the other side. And here we are with my basically finished mask. After that, I went ahead and made the other two masks and then got ready for decorating. So with this mask, I'm trying out the iron-on decal, and I started out with the low heat temperature again, but it ended up not doing anything to the decal. So I put a piece of fabric over it again, turned the heat up, and then when I looked again, it looked better. The fabric does look a little melted, unfortunately, and it looks like it's sticking kind of okay, but not completely well, so I just gave a little more time. And again, melted fabric at the top. I'm letting that cool while I arrange the next decals. And I'm going to put them on in layers so that they don't stick to the plastic of the other ones. So this one's cool enough now. Looks like it's stayed on very well, and it feels really nice on there. Other than this melted plastic, see, I'm trying to pull it apart. But this one's just coming right off. And I'm just going to layer the other decals on there. Now these decals are layered on there beautifully, and it looks like they did it without melting the plastic fabric, which is also awesome. So here are the 3 masks that the kit basically makes with some modifications. It does come with these rhinestones, but they just seem a little too childish for what I'm going for. But I can see how you might want to use them, but I decided to use my own rhinestones and my own glue to make sure it really stays on there. This is the no odor glue, so it's not horrible on my nose. So this is what we ended up with. I actually really like the rhinestones that I added on there. It still has little bits of thread from the fabric that was fraying, and it's still fraying a little, but again, for the price, since it was $3 for all 3 masks, it's basically $1 a mask, so I'm not disappointed in that. I did have to add a little more money because I used some of my own fabric for the backing, but overall, not bad at all. So again, here's this one. So tie-dye rainbow, this Hawaiian-ish print. I added some rhinestones to that one also. And it has a yellow backing. What's that? Oh, okay. It's just fabric, not a stain. and then the camo print. And again, see, this is how I kind of burnt this together with the iron. But this side seems to have survived that. So, in review for $3, I'm not sad I bought this at all. Great value for that. If you want to make quality masks, the fabric is not super quality fabric. It is like the cheap Halloween store type of fabric. But again, for the price, it's just hard to beat. Also, if this is a kit for kids, that's great if they're just learning how to sew. If they're just learning hand sewing, that's great, and if they're just going to use it as a costume. However, 3 layers are required for masks, and this only comes with 2 layers for your mask, so remember that. But aside from that, if your kid's just going to wear it as a costume in the house and they learn to sew, that's great. That's great value for this kit. But if you are going to make them for yourselves or anyone else, I would still back it with another piece of fabric. And now, I didn't really talk about this in the beginning, but I'm going to do a giveaway for these 3 masks. I have a lot of masks already, so I'm okay with giving these ones away. So if you'd like to win one of these masks, I do have 3, so there will be 3 winners. Just like this video and leave a comment below saying you would like to enter the mask winning contest. If there's only 3 people who entered, 3 people will win. If there's more, I'm going to do a name out of the hat type of situation, and you will be notified in the comments. I will comment on your I want to win saying if you won. If you didn't win, I probably won't comment on that just so you don't get a notification and get excited for nothing. I'll also make a comment, I'll pin a comment to the top saying who the 3 winners were. And if only one person enters, one person gets all 3 masks. The time frame on this contest will be 1 week, so you have until October 2nd to like this video and comment below if you wanted to enter. And then October 3rd, I will start notifying the winners on the comment section. So if you wanted to check back and see who won and check, October 3rd is the day that I'll put those names of the winners on there. Well, thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks for joining me again this week for another Review Friday. I'll see you next Friday. I do change my mind occasionally, but right now it looks like next month, October, for Halloween, our reviews will mainly be Tim Burton items, so check back next Friday for that. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great night.